The land. That is us. We are the wind, we are the trees, we are the plants. We belong to the land. We are the land.
Your country is you, and the country has always been you.
Yuraj Ardal Dapandyata, which means Aboriginal people are also contributing to the spirit and the energy of the country. The country feeds off our energy, and we feed off the country's energy. You can't have one without the other. So co-management has allowed us to have that.
For me, the power of co-management is that we are working, living and existing on Aboriginal lands, and having that as our core beginning part of our conversation is one of the most powerful parts of the co-management journey.
I think through the co-management approach, what we'll see is that bringing of culture back in and really focusing on those common laws that abound within the landscape. You know, there's a timelessness around us, and it comes in all shapes and forms. And for Aboriginal people, and that's the law of the land. That's one thing that never changes.
With land management in Australia, you can't exclude Aboriginal people. At the same time, there's non-Indigenous knowledge that needs to be incorporated. If you can get a mix of these two knowledge systems, then I think land management in Australia is going to be pretty good.
The co-management story in South Australia is one that to fully appreciate, you have to take a step back and listen to what's happening elsewhere in the world and really put what's happened here in context. And in many cases, I think that they are world first, they're leading the way. So I think it's definitely setting the example others are going to be following. The aspirations for strengthening culture, improving the environment, advancing economic initiatives, it's all embodied within the co-management space.
It gives us pride, it gives us a way forward in knowing that we can negotiate. We can hold our heads up high and say to our Adnyamathanha community, this is what happens when we work together. Co-management has been one of the vehicles that have been able to do that.
It gives us an opportunity for employment, form an economic base, and our social capacity increases.
There's a better understanding and cultural awareness of each other. It's another opportunity for myself to learn someone else's culture, and they can learn mine as well. And it's all about merging and getting to know each other.
That cultural education and cultural respect has been an ongoing journey since we've started. For me, I see that that's something that we do at each of our meetings, from each of our interaction with junior staff, and what they learn from us, and that cultural respect relationship that then translate to the broader community. That for me, I think has been a huge success and a very powerful one.
All that cultural knowledge, all that knowledge about managing broader landscape that the Aboriginal people were doing for thousands of years, for that to become part of our national parks is a real plus. In a lot of ways, it's just a really practical expression of reconciliation.
Reconciliating with your plants, your animals, everything, all life forms. That's allowed us to do that. Reconciliating as people, non-Aboriginal people and Aboriginal people, but also reconciliating as Adnyamathanha people.
They all have the same aspiration of being back on country, practicing their culture, connecting their young people to that culture, retaining language and storytelling, and that's all founded in country. Moving beyond an administrative arrangement, moving beyond establishing a board and developing a management plan, to actually creating opportunities for Aboriginal people to actually be on country. Because that's really where the true benefit of co-management will emerge, is once we have Aboriginal people connected to country, and they can't have that connection unless they're present.
Co-management gives us equal rights and responsibilities and a voice at the table. we're empowered and recognised within government for our connection to country and the responsibility we have in caring for country. So the cultural focus is quite significant now.
I don't think there's a finer example of reconciliation than Aboriginal co-management of our parks. It is just so gratifying to see Aboriginal people being empowered to make management decisions about their traditional lands.
Really, this is about the future generations. This is done correctly, will give a strong foundation for the generation to come.
Guys are coming together and working together. And that's what Indigenous people's all about. Looking after one another, working together. You know, we've got a culture to look after, and that's what we're learning now and also teaching our kids as well.
I've always had a passion. As an Aboriginal person, it's always there in your heart. I would love to see us as Aboriginal people taking the full reins and looking after our country and community. Who else better is there than us, the traditional owners who've looked after the land and lived here for 60,000+ years.
Co-management comes as a way that we come together, focusing on land and what we can do in partnership. The principle of walking together is very much epitomised in what we manage to do with our co-management boards.